The world's a dangerous place. Get the industry's original and most trusted laser sighting system from Crimson Trace. A laser and light systems will enhance your effectiveness and help keep you and your family out of harm's way.
Today on Tom Gresham's Gun Talk, it's a birthday party. Tom visits with a few people who were there at the beginning to talk about the changes in firearms, gun rights, and the growth of the shooting sports over 2 decades. Grab your paper hat and a glass of punch. Gun Talk turns 20 today.
Happy birthday. Gun Talk turns 20. How about that? Tell you what, get my groove on. Actually, someone said, get my lands and grooves on. We're having a ball today. It's going to be fun. We have a complete lineup. We are stacked up with great guests here. We're going to be kicking it off with Ted Nugent. We got Wayne LaPierre, Alan Gottlieb, Rob Latham, Gene Hoffman. It goes on and on. It's just going to be a hoot. Lots of stuff going on. 20 years. Imagine 1995. We're going to be talking about where we were then, in terms of gun politics, in terms of gear, equipment, ammo, everything else, and how it's changed in many ways, and in some ways how it has not changed, and how basically what was the landscape? How did we come to have a show called Gun Talk? Because there was nothing like this at the time. It was a crazy, wild, goofy idea. And I promise you, I swear to you, I told my wife, I said, okay, we're going to give this 6 weeks. Because this may be like one of the dumbest things I've ever done. And that would take some doing because there's been quite a list. And I said, we'll give it 6 weeks, maybe 10 weeks. We'll see. And, I can always bail out. Okay. And so far, so good, as they say. 20 years. Holy cow. Who would have thunk it? It has been tons of fun. We've been able to get a message out. We've been able to pull a lot of people together. We've built the Gun Talk Truth Squad. The Truth Squad is one of the things I'm proudest of. Some 90,000 of you volunteering to get involved, to speak up, to adopt the no shrug policy, where we're not going to just see things on TV and in the papers and say, well, that's just the way it is. We can't do anything about it. No longer will we shrug. Now we speak up. And by speaking up, we change things. You have volunteered to take people to the range. We've taken a zillion people out to the range and introduced them to the shooting sports, which is, I call it vaccination, because when someone goes to the range and shoots and has fun, he or she cannot now be convinced that shooting is bad because their personal experience trumps what they're being told. You also sometimes get that very weird look on someone's face when they look at you after they've been shooting and enjoying it, and you realize what's going on. They're thinking, I've been lied to all these years. Oh, yeah, that's some of the best stuff. 20 years, who knew? Man, lots of fun. We're going to be talking about a lot of different things. Let me get this in. We're doing a Gun Talk giveaway, which we like to do, Timney Triggers giveaway. If you go to guntalk.com/win, you can enter for a chance to win a $750 gift certificate to use at timneytriggers.com. Each week we're giving away 10 first prizes, a lot of cool things there. Oh. And one of the fun things, this is only good until tomorrow, Monday, as we're talking right now. Go to the Gun Talk Facebook page. It's facebook.com/GunTalkMedia. We're giving away the slowest shot timer in the world. Basically just post something that says, I'm so slow. How slow are you? Actually, it's a clock, okay? It's just a regular old clock. It's an XDS, very cool clock. We decided to call it the shot timer for the hopelessly slow shooter because it measures in terms of hours. A lot of fun. Go to facebook.com/GunTalkMedia. All right, don't go far because we have quite the show coming up. Coming up next, Ted Nugent, yes indeed, the Motor City Madman, will be getting us kicked off. We'll be right back with more Gun Talk.
EWL by Slip 2000 is the absolute best gun lube available, period. It will never gum up or become sticky. It won't attract dust, dirt, or sand, and doesn't freeze in cold weather. It penetrates and bonds with a metal reducing friction and wear, which means less cleaning and easier cleaning. Why not try it? Visit our participating dealer for a free sample or go to slip2000.com. That's slip2000.com.
Attacks happen every day. How will you react? See real people put into real-life criminal attack situations on First Person Defender. Discover what works and what doesn't. Kidnapping, ATM robbery, home invasion, and other attacks. Learn how to save your life and the lives of your family. Get the entire first season on DVD at shopguntalk.com. Get prepared. Shopguntalk.com.
Every day, law enforcement agencies worldwide put their trust in the HST bullet from Federal Premium Ammunition. Built to protect our streets and defend our freedoms, HST, in its iconic mushroom, provide reliable and consistent performance. That same technology is now available for your personal defense needs when protecting your home and defending your family. Personal Defense HST. Proven, trusted performance. Federal Premium Ammunition. Every shot counts.
If you're looking for a safe and trusted way to sell your firearms, look no further than Dury's Gun Shop. I trusted them to sell my dad's collection. They built their business for over 50 years on honesty and customer service. Dury's Guns will buy any size collection or estate, none too big or too small. Selling your firearms to Dury's Guns is easy. Go with the pros. I trust Dury's Guns. DurysGuns.com.
This is Sarah. I just want to wish Tom a happy 20-year anniversary, and here's to 20 more.
Ah, that's great. That's the lovely Sarah who runs our office and makes everything work. She is the glue that holds it all together. 1995, if you can believe it, we started this. Now imagine, in 1994, we got the Clinton gun ban. In 1993, we got the Brady Law, the Brady Act. It was a different time. It was a strange, we were absolutely under assault. And one of the guys who was there then, who is there now, Ted Nugent, joins us right now. Hello, Ted, my friend.
Well, greetings. Happy springtime to you, Tom, and God bless you, Godspeed, and a salute for 20 years of Gun Talk. But more importantly, I hope everybody realizes this, I want to thank you, congratulate you, and salute you for a lifetime of the most important we the people duty in the history of humankind, and that is to stand up, live, fight for, and celebrate and promote the self-evident truth of the Second Amendment. So God bless you, my friend.
Well, of course, you know where this came from. You were a friend of my dad, so I had to do this.
Absolutely. Well, God bless you and your dad, Grits, and how you're carrying it out with your son, Ryan. What you're doing really is God's work. This experiment in self-government is epitomized by those of us who figured out early on that the culture war never ends, that we have to stand up for what makes America better than the rest of the world, and certainly that all pivots on our right to defending our lives. I mean, even a guitar player from Detroit can figure this stuff out. So I celebrate with you, and I listen to your show often because Sundays, usually in the middle of the day, I'm not hunting or rock and rolling, a brief window, I remind you. But I listen to your show often, and boy, you really represent the heart and soul, the working hard, playing hard, self-evident truth, mom and pop America. So I'm so proud that you're doing this, and I'm sure your dad is too.
Well, I appreciate that. And I really did want to have you on here to kick the show off. Now, help people understand where we were 20 years ago. 1995, set the stage. We were in the middle of this so-called assault weapons ban and all that Bill Clinton nonsense.
Well, I witnessed it as you did. You know, I'm 66 now. How old are you now, Tom?
I'm 63, so we're there.
I know you respect your elders, so I'll share with you. You know, the weekends, as they still are today, for literally tens of millions of American families, involve the shooting sports. You know, Sundays, Saturdays, and Sundays, plinking during the hunting season, just friendly family competition, training, self-defense routines. It's always been going on. It went on in my life when I was born in Detroit in 1948. My dad just got out of World War II, but I got to tell you, when I was first attacked in 1964 for being a deer hunter and a gun owner on rock and roll radio, I kind of winced and went, what the hell are you talking about? Deer hunting is perfect, And our lives are not only a right to defend, but we have a moral, intellectual, and I believe spiritual obligation to defend our precious gift of life from anyone who would try to take it away. So even as a kid, what my dad taught me and what millions of dads like Grits taught you, it's still alive and well, but we were apathetic after World War II, and we couldn't imagine that our own government would start brainwashing Americans with propaganda that somehow being unarmed and helpless is a better choice. And if you're attacked, by all means, don't resist. Just give them what they want. And I recoiled in horror, and it was at its worst in the 80s and 90s, and I'm sure that's what spurred you on to take it to the next level and go as far and wide with the truth as you can, as I've been doing since that day in 1964.
And I don't want people to think that you're overstating it. When you say the goal is to brainwash, literally, our current Attorney General, Eric Holder, in a speech a few years ago, he said the goal is to brainwash America against guns. That is out of the mouth of our current Attorney General. The goal is to brainwash America against guns. So you're not overstating it in the slightest.
Well, let's make sure we dwell on that point for a moment, because I was attacked in our own shooting industry for being overzealous and a radical. When I would say things like that, I would identify irrefutable evidence that there was the anti-gun insanity, not only in the academia and in the media, but in our own governments. My own shooting sports industry would turn on me for being too outspoken. Of course, now they've woken up and they've realized that our life should be gun talk. I write a weekly column for Newsmax.com, WND, WorldNet Daily, Daily Caller, deeranddeerhunting.com, and like I've always done in all my stage presentations, all my media interviews, all my writings, I celebrate and promote self-evident truth. I don't defend squat. We got nothing to defend. We have to move forward with all the gusto we can summon, and we've got to destroy the brainwashers and the propagandists, and I think we're doing a fine job.
Okay. With that in mind, give me the Ted Nugent 2-minute seminar for those who say, yeah, I want to do something, and you have been following, you've been a keen observer of the media all of your professional life. For somebody who says, I want to do something, help them out. What can they do?
Well, I will try to be brief, not easy in this subject matter, but quite honestly, Barack Obama and Eric Holder didn't get into power to abuse it because they're clever. It's because too many Americans were sound asleep, a self-inflicted curse, a scourge, a suicidal inbreeding of apathy that opened the door for these America haters, these freedom haters. So anybody that's not a member of the NRA, Eric Holder likes you. Any member who doesn't anybody listening right now that doesn't communicate with their elected employees and remind them that there's no such thing as a cop killer bullet or a Saturday night special or an assault weapon, if you haven't communicated that to your elected officials, Nancy Pelosi likes you. So the apathy is the big curse. Register to vote, vote singularly, Second Amendment rights, put constant pressure on our elected employees that they have to respect the Second Amendment, where they don't in New York, New Jersey, Maryland, Massachusetts, Connecticut, California, Illinois. We have to put the pressure from we the people on our elected employees instead of vice versa, which the Dick Durbins and the Barack Obamas of the world are just celebrating. And I got to tell you, with this current reversal of the ATF punks' attempted ban on .223 ammo, I think that's an indication that we the people can overcome. So God bless everybody that was involved with that.
And you see that the ATF director just announced his resignation after he failed miserably with this ammo ban.
Well, let me quote my good friend Governor Perry. Adios, mofo. I mean, yeah, you think? That's because we the people just kicked his ass. I love when that happens.
Right. Don't let the door hit you in the butt on the way out.
That's right.
Oh, all right, I got to switch on you now. Okay, I got my new project. I only got about 10 days left on this gun. We're going to take some orders for. It's just a fun little project, but I know it's kind of near and dear to your heart. Not my project, but the fact that it's a 10 millimeter, because I've done another 10 millimeter pistol. So talk to me about the 10. Why do you like the 10 so much?
Well, we can all Google how it became a reality because of Jeff Cooper, hired by the FBI to get a response to the failed tactics of the '82 Miami shootout, which had nothing to do with caliber or bullet design. It had everything to do with tactics. But they developed the 10 millimeter to be this mystical one-shot stop, which there's no such thing as. But based on Evan Marshall's study of millions of shootings, the 10 millimeter is the boss hog. It's much more effective on big game flesh and on actual, ballistic impact than it represents on paper. So I've been carrying a 10 millimeter for the last, it's got to be 26, 27 years since they first went past the Bren 10. And now SIG's got a 10, the Glock's got the new G40, everybody makes a 10 millimeter. I can just shout from the 10 millimeter mountaintop that it has no equal. It's a great caliber for self-defense.
Now you've hunted with yours, right?
Oh,
you've hunted with your 10.
Of big game animals with mine, yes.
Really?
Yeah, many, many deer, elk, eland, zebra, kudu. I shot a Cape buffalo on film for our Spirit of the Wild TV show with some Peter Pye Corbon 180 grain penetrators out of my Glock at about 35 yards, and I put 3 in them real fast through the vertebrae and dropped them like I was using a 5.77 nitro. Now, a lot of people out there going, oh, yeah, sure you did. Well, I got it on film. It actually happened, and that's because I went for the vertebrae. I had to cut the vertebrae with Peter's ammo.
Wow. Yeah. And of course, that's the other part of it, is that, frankly, the ammo is so much better now than even when the 10 was introduced, when Colonel Cooper was behind it with the Bren 10. It's a whole different gun now.
Yeah, well, you got to be careful, too, because some of the ammo manufacturers, though the ammo on the shelf today, I think we can celebrate the ultimate gun talk between us, is that the
some of it's dumbed down.
It's the best. It's the best ammo anywhere, but sometimes they back down the power of the 10 millimeters, which should be a 180 grain bullet, doing in the 13 to 1,400 feet per second category. Now, there's a bunch out there you can get, including the Ted Nugent ammo, dare I say. But, yes, you get the right ammo, and you're really shooting a semi-automatic 41 Magnum.
Exactly. It's funny you mention that, because we're doing a lot of TV video this week, and one of the things we're going to do is compare the 10 with the 41. I have an original model 57 Smith & Wesson 41 Magnum that we got when I was like 16 years old. Still got the gun. So we're going to compare the two with the chronograph and ballistic gel. We're going to have some fun. Yeah, that's a great round. Great caliber, great guns. All the manufacturers, I believe, make a 10 millimeter now. So anybody that doesn't have one, you might want to get you one. I just read something I'd never heard. You probably were very familiar with this. Of course, for those that don't know, the 10 millimeter came first, and then the 40 S&W came after that because some of the FBI agents couldn't handle the 10. Blah 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 blah.
Poor baby.
But then somebody dubbed the 40 S&W the 40 short and wimpy.
Well, and it's a good caliber, and they load some real good effective rounds in it. But it is the 10 short. And if you really want to go that way, and I got to tell you, with all due respect, I train with the FBI and the guys, and a lot of them love the 10, so there's only a goofball fringe that thought the 10 had too much recoil, because here's from the guitar player who actually wrote Wango Tango and meant it. It has no recoil. It doesn't have any effect at all.
Well, and that's the other part, is that training. I got to tell you, I just got a note from a guy who said he had gone, finally, after I've been hammering all this time, he went and actually got some real training with Tiger McKee, which is a shoot right. It's kind of like a gun sight or a Thunder Ranch. And it was like the heavens parted, and all of a sudden he could see the light. And he says, Tom, now I understand what you're talking about. And we're going, yes, you have to go get training in this stuff. Well, like the response of some of the agents that turned down the 10 millimeter because they didn't have enough trigger time. I mean, you've got any caliber. I don't care if it's lightweight 17 or you're going after, elephant with a 460 Weatherby. You've got to experience the recoil so you have a mentality of preparation, so the recoil becomes inconsequential. And if you shoot often enough, you can mind over matter any recoil at all. And certainly the 10 millimeter is inconsequential. I think the 44 Magnum is inconsequential compared to the Casull and the 500 and the 460. Right. And the 375 JDJ, et cetera. But you have to put in the trigger time, and all of a sudden recoil becomes meaningless. It's a case of proper technique, proper training, and then practice, putting in some time out there, and just frankly getting used to it where you can think through it and you're just still putting the shot on target regardless of what's going to happen after you pull the trigger. That's after the fact. Just put the bullet on target. That's the main thing. And isn't practicing and training fun anyway? I can't imagine why anybody wouldn't want to. I was up with the heli hunters here again last week, and we shot hundreds and hundreds of hogs with my M4 full auto out of a helicopter. So, at some point, the cadence of a machine gun, you can overcome that as well if you put in enough time. Absolutely. So you do have all the fun, you know.
I am. I actually feel a hint of guilt. I mean,
Not likely.
I was down in your country in Sulphur, Louisiana, at the Action Arms with Joe and Rock Palermo and Dr. John and thousands of wonderful American families for a grand opening of Action Arms. And I tell you, the shooting sports is growing. More and more young people and women are getting into it. It's really a great, great time to be a Second Amendment celebrator, and that's the most important thing. You have to be a member of the NRA. And those guys wincing and shaking their heads, they're not perfect. And if you can find something perfect, call me. The NRA is the best fist in the culture war fight. And here's the bottom line. If you're not a National Rifle Association member, Eric Holder thinks you're on his side.
Sure, because they simply count how many gun owners are members and how many are not, and frankly, there are a lot more that are not, and so we need to be changing that all the time because it's numbers. Politics is a numbers game. That's right. Well, and again, happy 20th birthday to you, and I'll see you at the NRA in Nashville here next month, Tom, and your family. And I'll be, before the NRA event, I'll be down in Nashville at the Armory doing a little fun shooting on Saturday the 11th, and on Saturday the 11th I'll be at the Outdoor Channel booth, and I'll be at the Music City Center doing my little Uncle Ted Motor City Freedom Celebrating Rock and Roll get down at the Music Center on Sunday, April 12th. So I look forward to seeing all those wonderful people again at the annual NRA event. Perfect. We'll see you in Nashville, my friend. All right, Godspeed. Happy anniversary. My love to everybody out there who celebrates the Second Amendment and our NRA members. All right, take care. Ted Nugent, of course, always a great guest here. Really appreciate him being here, kicking this thing off. We got a lot of people coming. We've got, next up is going to be the guy who first put the shooting sports on national TV. This is a story that you probably have not heard before. Then we got Wayne LaPierre, we got Rob Latham, we got a bunch of other people lined up. It's going to be fun. And oh, by the way, I do have a new program. I just started this coming week. You've heard of the Million Mom March? I started the Million Round March. We'll be telling you about that as we go along, too, because anything that makes the gun banners' heads explode, I'm all for it. Don't go anywhere. We are having the 20th anniversary party of Gun Talk right here. Be right back.
Want to be a guest on the show? Drop us a line at info@guntalk.com. You're listening to Gun Talk with Tom Gresham.
Hey, welcome back. It's the 20th anniversary of Gun Talk, 20 years on the air. At this point, I want to bring in a very good, close friend, and truly my mentor in the business. Doug Painter joins us now. Hello, Doug.
Tom, it's great to join you, and congratulations on 20 great years. Where'd the time go?
No kidding. For those who don't know, I mean, they probably have seen you on TV, but you were at the National Shooting Sports Foundation for decades, past president there. But for me, you've done so many great things and done so many things for messaging for gun owners, but you were the guy who put the shooting sports, competition shooting, on national TV first, on ESPN. That was amazing.
Yes, those were the good old days back then, you know. I go back to the era when we just had CBS, NBC, and ABC, and you couldn't go to them and say, "Hey, I've got a program I'd like to put on your network." But when ESPN came along, we said to ourselves, "I wonder if we could get shooting sports on ESPN." They were very amenable to it. And for years, we had Shooting Sports America, and then also the first non-endemic sponsor, Chevrolet Trucks. So it was Chevy Trucks, Shooting Sports America, and your father was our original host, and then I brought this young kid along.
Yes, you did. I was there on doing the still photography on a shoot, and you said, "Hey, get over here, stand here." And
stand here and
all
talk.
Of a sudden, stand here and talk. Sure, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm game. And so I look back at those.
Years later, you're still talking, Tom.
Yeah, that's right. See, you didn't know you weren't going to get me to stop.
Oh, my word. But what a difference 20 years to today. We have seen so much change, And I think the best news is that change has been positive over the last 2 decades, and rather, I will say, amazingly so.
How so?
Well, 20 years ago, where we were as gun owners was not a very pretty place. You had one of the most anti-gun administrations in modern history. You had, and I remember personally, beginning in the late 1990s, our industry faced more than 30 lawsuits from different states, from different cities around the country.
Right.
It was a tough uphill climb for everyone in this business at that time.
It was a dark period for gun rights.
Absolutely. And I think we did 3 things that were very smart, Tom, as an industry. The first is we played together. If you look at the companies that became members of the Heritage Fund, which was the fund that our industry used to raise dollars against all these industry lawsuits, they weren't just handgun companies. I mean, they were hunting clothing manufacturers, scope companies, you name it. They were all there standing together.
Right.
And I think the second thing we did so well is we played smart. We really developed the kind of strategies, both, one, to defeat our opponents, but at the same time to explain who we were and what our values were to the American public.
Right, and I think that was key. It continues to be key in our messaging, because if they don't know who you are, they're willing to do almost anything to you.
Well, absolutely. It's easy to forget. You can, as they used to so often say, win the battle and lose the war. It's very, very important and I think this is where we've made great progress, to say, look, we are responsible men and women in this country who own firearms, and we're not part of the problem. And when you also look at the hunting and shooting sports and the values they represent and the importance that the hunting community has had for over 100 years in wildlife conservation, my point has always been, we have a good story. Let's go out and tell it.
Exactly. And you said there was a third point.
There is a third point, and I think I always, perhaps the most important, is in the darkest days that we faced, we still played to win, Tom. We faced, when you look at these lawsuits and the dollars they wanted, kidding, let's say I sued you for $50,000 and then you came back and said, hey, Doug, well, would you take 25? You could work it out. Maybe. Right. But when we faced these lawsuits, it would have bankrupted every handgun manufacturer in the United States. So you didn't really have a choice. You had
and that
to
was
play
the goal.
to win.
The goal was to destroy all the manufacturers.
Totally. I mean, there was quite an unholy alliance between these mayors and many of the lawyers who were fresh off the tobacco wins. They had millions of dollars, and we had to come up with our own millions of dollars, and we had to go to court, and we had to win these cases, and we did one after the other. So it was a real awakening for this industry.
It was. We've been through the wars together, and you were there at the very beginning of Gun Talk, and you said, yeah, go ahead and do that. I said, well, I don't know what I'm doing. It don't matter. Just go do it. I thank you for all your help through the years.
Hey, Tom, good to be with you, and congratulations.
Thank you so much, Doug Pater, former president of the National Shooting Sports Foundation, and truly a visionary in terms of the messaging and the way, what we had to do to move public opinion and let them know who we were. Hey, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. We're going to have Wayne LaPierre from the NRA.
Accurate, powerful, consistent. At Double Tap Ammunition, we offer 364 loads in 83 calibers that give you exactly what you've been looking for. Try us out at www.doubletapammo.com and use the promo code GUNTALK for 10% off your order.
Who will you trust with your guns and valuables? Liberty safes are the best built and most secure safes on the planet. They sell more gun safes than any other brand. It's about trust earned through performance. If your Liberty safe is damaged by fire or attempted break-in, they'll send a new safe right to your home. Protection from thieves and fire. Trust the #1 maker of quality gun safes. LibertySafe.com.
The Smith & Wesson Bodyguards. Carry more comfortably, walk more confidently. When it comes to personal protection, nothing beats a Bodyguard. Choose the lightweight, compact, and concealable Bodyguard 380 pistol or the Bodyguard 38 revolver, both with a built-in laser sight. The Smith & Wesson Bodyguards. Carry more comfortably, walk more confidently.
At Double Tap Ammunition, we hand inspect every round that we make, and we use only the best components to give you the best ammunition on the market. Try us out at www.doubletapammo.com and use the promo code GUNTALK for 10% off your order.
It's Ryan. Congratulations on 20 years on the air. Very amazing.
Congratulations, Glenda. Good job on 20 years. Good job, Glenda. I
love you. Oh, my. I did not know these were coming. You guys sneak these things in on me, didn't you? That's my son and my granddaughter's there. So that was a ton of fun. Yeah, it's been one of the great parts about this whole gig, honestly, has been working with Ryan. A lot of you know him through his work on TV. He's co-host of Guns and Gear and GUNTALK television shows. We just had, frankly, a lot of fun with this, creating these shows. And then the whole first-person defender concept really came out of Ryan. And he said, hey, why don't we do a show about self-defense? It's kind of based on the first-person shooter video games. And so we do this show called First Person Defender, where we take people and drop them into the middle of a self-defense situation. We're shooting simunitions, and they're all decked out with all the protective gear, but they're also wearing lots of cameras. We probably shoot, 7, 8, 9 cameras at a time. And it's just been amazing to see what happens. Oh, by the way, we're trying to get a hold of Wayne LaPierre right now. It's not getting through to his cell, but we're going to keep trying. We'll work on that. But the First Person Defender show has been terrific. A lot of people, and by the way, it's free. It's on YouTube. Anybody can go watch it. Just go to our YouTube channel, GUNTALK TV or GUNTALK Media on YouTube, and watch the First Person Defender show. It's kind of like House of Cards, the Netflix show where it's all on the web, but it's free, but it's a real TV show, and you can go watch it at your leisure. We've had a ton of people watch it, frankly, had their eyes opened, and then share it with their family members and say, honey, you got to come watch this. You got to sit down and watch this. And once they start, they watch all of them. Probably the two this year that have gotten the most attention. The one is, and you've heard me talk about it, the true story. We pulled it right out of the stories that Crimson Trace got of somebody trying to set somebody else on fire. We're basically setting this young girl, 13-year-old girl, on fire while her dad is looking for her, and her dad has to deal with the situation. The other, which was very interesting, was working with Tommy Carnline, and Tommy has been in a wheelchair since he was a teenager. He's a police officer, and showing the challenges, both of being in a wheelchair, but also just the challenges of fighting from a sitting position, carrying a gun in a sitting position. We've got a lot of great comments about that. I mentioned earlier that I have started this thing. Like I said, anything that makes the gun banners' heads explode is a good thing. So I created the Million Round March. Now, back in, when was that? It was the year 2000. The Million Mom March, which didn't add up to 1 million, but it was a gun control march in D.C. Again, remember, they're talking 15 years ago, 5 years into Gun Talk Radio. It was a different time. It was a dark time. We were under assault from all directions. And this was put together by Shudana Dees Thomas. She worked with the Clinton administration, and then supposedly this was going to be a grassroots movement. Yeah, right. She's a PR professional. But anyway, so yet they had the Million Mile March, which fizzled, didn't do anything. So I'm creating the Million Round March just because. Okay, this is a just because. You can get involved, not get involved. This is your call. Okay, but it's simple. I discovered that the Alzheimer's Association has a fundraiser they call the Longest Day, and it revolves around June 21st, which is the day that has the most hours of daylight, the longest day. And they have people do all sorts of events on that day, and they pledge money for it. And I said, you know what? June 21 was my dad's birthday, and Dad died from Alzheimer's disease, Gresham. And I know a lot of you have enjoyed me reading some of Dad's writings on the podcast. And, of course, you've seen a lot of his TV shows and the Miller Lite commercials and all that. And I said, what if we raise money basically kind of in memory of Grits, but we also use it as a positive PR move for gun owners? And how do we put a catchy phrase on that? Let's call it the Million Round March. And what we're going to do is I'm asking people to dedicate a penny, 1 cent, for each round that they shoot. That could be each round you shoot on the June 21st. That could be each round you shoot on a weekend. I don't care. It doesn't matter. Go throw $1 in the kitty, or $10 or $25 or whatever you want, okay? The idea, of course, is that we get media attention saying gun owners are doing something positive for people that has nothing to do with guns or gun rights or anything like that. We're just part of a community. And I know there are people who do that, with their gun clubs and raise money for other charities, and that's great. That's fine. This is just another one. Being a media guy and a messaging guy, I thought, well, the Million Round March kind of has a zing to it. It will make people who hate guns, it'll make their heads explode because they won't like the fact that we're going to shoot 1 million rounds, not understanding that we shoot that much every day. Literally, quite literally, gun owners shoot that much every day, and a lot more than that. I mean, heck, they're making, 7, 8, 9 million rounds of .22 ammo every day. So we're shooting a lot of ammo out there. But also it will drive them crazy that we're doing good and getting credit for it with that whole thing wrapped around shooting, the shooting sports and responsible gun ownership. So if you just go to the Alzheimer's Association website, they've got the program they call the Longest Day. You can search for Team GUNTALK if you'd like to get involved in that. Just Team GUNTALK, and you can. Look, it's your deal. I'm not asking to go out of your way. If you're comfortable with it, great. I just think it's going to be an interesting, fun thing for us to do. So, Alzheimer's Association website, look for Team GUNTALK, and we got 90 days or something on this, and we'll just keep plugging away at it. But it'd be kind of fun. Also, we have 90 days for that. We only have 9 days left on the GT20, the pistol that we're doing with SIG, and made a decision. People said, well, if you're not going to do 1,000 of them, because we had originally said we were going to put one of 1,000 on the side of the slides, we're not going to end up selling that many. I didn't know what we're going to sell. So whatever it is, 200, 250, we're going to end up with that number on the side. So it'll probably say one of 200 or one of 250 on the side. So it will denote that it is a smaller run, which probably would make it, if you cared, possibly, maybe, more valuable at some point. I note that the original GT10 pistol that we did, now I just saw it listed on the Dury's website for $2,000, which is more than it sold for when we did it several years ago. By the way, if you want to see the video that we did, fun video, with some, I call it sexy video. It's turntable and pretty lights on the gun and all that. And then me shooting at the range. You go to durysguns.com, DURYS guns.com. They have the video there. And we have 9 days left at the end, midnight on the 31st of March 31st. Midnight of March 31st, they're going to stop taking deposits, they're going to stop taking orders. If you miss it, that's it. You're not going to have a chance. So if you have an interest in it, find a way, get there. durysguns.com. 20 years. Hard to believe. I really have not had a weekend in 20 years. But it's been fun because I get to spend all that time with you. All right, we'll be right back with more Gun Talk. Happy birthday to Gun Talk. One of the things I was thinking about, the changes of guns and ammo in 20 years that we've had Gun Talk Radio on the air. By the way, we're on, 185, 190 stations around the country, lots of podcasts. We have 3 million downloads, 3 million downloads of the podcast now, each year. Lots of folks listening through a lot of different ways, a lot of ways to get it. By the way, if you don't know, we also put the podcast, which is all that is a recorded version of the show, on YouTube. So if you go to YouTube, you can find it there on our website there, our channel on YouTube, Gun Talk TV. So you can check that out. But I was thinking about the guns, what has changed in 20 years? Probably the biggest thing, honestly, two things come to mind. One is that guns are better. They simply are better quality. Rifles are more accurate. Pistols are more reliable. I think the internet had something to do with that. People can compare. They can talk about it. If you had a bad gun in the past 40 years ago, you could tell your immediate friends, but you couldn't post it so that everybody could see it. That had something to do with it. We have certainly a lot more guns, a lot more gun companies. There are gun companies now that did not exist then. A lot of them did not. I mean, there was no Kel-Tec back then. There was, a lot of these companies that are major companies. And then, of course, we have companies like SIG, which was a small handgun company, and now they're making lots of handguns and making rifles and scopes and all sorts of stuff. So a lot of growth there. Ruger, of course, has become a monster. They're so huge. The quality of the guns is better, but the ammunition is so much better. Rifle ammunition now is so accurate, you would be frankly hard-pressed to hand-load ammo that's any better. 40 years ago, the only way to get really good ammo was to hand-load it. Because factory ammo, you're talking 2-3 inches at 100 yards. And that's fine, that's good. Why worry? You can hit a deer with that. Handloader said, yeah, but I can do 1 inch with my loads. Yeah, okay. Well, they forced them into, number one, producing more accurate loads, but also offering better bullets. Handloader said, but I can use Barnes bullets. I can use nozzle partition bullets. I can use Hornady bullets. None of that was available in factory loads. Now all of those good bullets are available in factory loads, and sometimes from the makers of the bullets. Hornady, Barnes, Nosler, all making their own ammo these days. Black Hills Ammo, doing all sorts of cool stuff. Our ammo is just better, whether it's rifle ammo, the controlled expansion designs out there, or the handgun ammo. Honestly, the 9mm works as well at stopping attackers as the 45 did 20 years ago. It is quite amazing. And then we have this crazy deal of I don't know if it's resurgence or maybe just a surgence of the 380 as a viable round for self-defense. And I know people say, yeah, no, that's not good enough. Go shoot it in some ballistic gelatin. It will open your eyes. It will be within an inch of penetration of a 38 special or a 9mm. And I don't know a lot of people who say a 38 and a 9 are not good enough for self-defense. And so we have these small 380s out there. Just amazing stuff. The guns are better. The ammo is better. Now, obviously, we have a lot more cool accessories to the point where some accessories are becoming go-to items. Lasers, I think, are very quickly becoming not something that you'd like to have, but something you think, I'm going to have on my self-defense guns. I'm going to have a laser. Why would I not? Yeah, and I was one of those that said, I don't care about that. It's all great until I tried it and then went, oh, now I get it. Oh, they actually work. So we have seen so many changes, better optics, red dots, lasers, ammo, guns, cool holsters, and then not to even mention the growth of concealed carry all over the country. 20 years ago, we had a few states where you could carry a gun concealed, and then, of course, we have millions and millions upon more women shooters out there getting their carry permits and then finding out, hey, this is fun, taking their lady friends out with them, going to the range, having a good time. You want to know where all the ammo is going? Shooters. New shooters by the millions. That's okay. They're making more ammo all the time. All right, Gun Talk, 20 years. It's pretty darn incredible. We'll be back with more celebration in just a minute.